Have you ever looked at the world of AI and data science and just thought, wow, where do I even begin? Maybe you've seen those incredible salary reports and wondered if you could be a part of it. Well, if that's you, you're in the right place. Today, we're laying out a complete step-by-step roadmap to take you from total beginner to a job-ready data scientist in 2025. This is it, right? The biggest question on every beginner's mind. The field looks so huge, so complex from the outside. But here's the good news. You absolutely do not need a PhD to get started. What you need is a clear path and some consistent effort. And in this explainer, we are going to lay out that exact path for you. So, here's how we're going to break down this journey. It's 5 key stages. We'll start by figuring out what this job even is. Then we'll gather our tools, master the core skills, build some real proof of what we can do, and finally make that leap from learner to professional. Okay, first things first. Before we write a single line of code or look at any math, let's get a handle on what a data scientist actually does. What's our destination here? At its core, it's pretty much what it sounds like. You take data and you apply a scientific, methodical approach to it. That means you're going to be collecting it, cleaning it, and trust me, it's almost always messy, analyzing it, building models to make predictions, and maybe most importantly, communicating what you found so that businesses can make smarter decisions. So here's a really cool way to think about it. You are a detective. Seriously. But instead of solving crimes, you're solving business problems using data as your clues. You're trying to answer questions like, why are our customers leaving? Or what product should we promote next quarter? Or how can we spot fraud before it happens? You're the one finding the answers hidden in all that data. All right, every good detective needs a toolkit. This next stage is all about gathering those non-negotiable, fundamental skills you're going to need for the road ahead. Now, this might look intimidating, but it's more straightforward than you might think. For math, you just need the basics, things like linear algebra and probability, so you can understand how the models work under the hood. For programming, Python is king. You'll use amazing libraries like pandas and NumPy to handle data, and you will absolutely need SQL to pull data from databases. No way around that one. And finally, there's data literacy. This is all about learning to speak data. Doing what's called exploratory data analysis, or EDA, which is just a fancy way of saying you're cleaning and making sense of your data for the first time. With our toolkit ready, it's time for the really fun part. This is where we start forging those foundational skills into the powerful craft of a true data scientist. Now listen up, because this is one of the most critical and honestly most underrated skills for 2025. It's not just about building fancy models. It's about explaining what you found to people who are not data experts. Because think about it, if you can't communicate your insights, the best analysis in the world is completely useless. You have to be a storyteller. And to tell those stories, you have some incredible tools. You'll probably start in Python with libraries like Matplotlib and Seaborn to make standard charts. Then you can level up to something like Plotly for cool, interactive visuals. And for the business world, learning a tool like Power BI or Tableau is a must for building those professional dashboards everyone loves. And now, we get to the part everyone gets so excited about, machine learning. This is where you literally teach a computer to find patterns and make predictions, all on its own. It's the engine that drives modern data science. The key here is not to get overwhelmed. You don't have to learn everything at once. You can follow a really logical path. Start with the fundamentals in a library called scikit-learn, building basic models. Once you get comfortable with that, you can move on to more powerful techniques like random forests. And from there, you can start exploring the incredible world of deep learning and neural networks. The role of a data scientist is changing so fast. And in 2025, that means you've got to get comfortable with the latest trends in AI. This is what's really going to separate you from the pack. It's not just about classic machine learning anymore. It's about having a combined AI and data science skill set. So what does that actually mean for you? Well, you should focus on a few key areas. You'll want to understand convolutional neural networks, or CNNs. That's the standard for working with images. For text, it's all about transformers and large language models, the famous LLMs. And a hugely valuable skill right now is learning how to fine-tune a powerful pre-existing model, like GPT or BERT, on a company's own private data. Okay, so theory is great, but employers, they hire based on proof. This next stage is all about building projects that show you can actually apply what you've learned to solve real problems. Your portfolio, that's your proof. Let me tell you a little secret. The data you get in a classroom is nice and clean, but real-world data, It's a total mess. That's why companies love data scientists who understand the basics of data engineering and something called MLOps. MLOps is just the process of getting a machine learning model off your laptop and into a live working application where it can actually help someone.
So what kind of stuff can you build? Well, you could start with a classic project like trying to predict stock prices or figuring out which customers are likely to leave. You could do some sentiment analysis on social media data. But the real gold standard? An end-to-end project where you not only build the model, but also deploy it in a simple web app. That shows you can take a project all the way to the finish line. Here's a fantastic rule of thumb to keep in mind. It's not about writing the most complex code, it's about clear communication. So practice explaining your projects in simple terms. If you can make your project make sense to someone completely outside of tech, you know you've really mastered it. We're in the home stretch now. This is the final stage of our roadmap. You've got the skills, you've got the portfolio. Now it's time to actually land that job and start thinking like a professional. Here is a pro tip for your resume, and it is a game changer. Don't just list what you know, show the impact of what you did with it. So instead of saying you're proficient in Python, say you built a model that improved prediction accuracy by 15%. Quantify your results. That is what grabs an employer's attention. Look, data science and AI are changing at an incredible speed. The very best professionals are the ones who never, ever stop learning. Follow the right people on social media, take new courses, and just stay curious. In this field, your ability to grow is your single greatest asset. So let's just do a quick recap of our 5-stage journey. First, we started by understanding our goal, to become that digital detective. Then we gathered our foundational toolkit of math and code. We mastered our core craft, learning to tell stories with data and build amazing models. We proved our skills with a real-world portfolio, and now we're ready to launch our careers with that impact-focused mindset. So the path is laid out for you, step by step. It's not going to be easy, but it takes consistent effort. And honestly, going from beginner to being job ready is more achievable right now than it has ever been before.